Do guys want sex or what? Can ancient philosophy help you with feeling unwanted, undesired, and deeply sexually frustrated? Everything in life is about sex. Except sex. Sex is about... Men always want sex, right? By the end of this video, you might change your mind about this. I'm here to argue that most men simply use sex as a tool to address a whole lot of other issues. Before we go, this video is all about sex, and did I mention sex? Sex, sex, sex. So it will likely get demoted by YouTube. Please like and write some comments to help me out a bit. Thanks. It's no secret that in our culture, men are taught from an early age that emotions are unmanly, that we should be stoic and not have feelings, that being sensitive makes us weak, and that having emotional needs makes us laughable. But there are two exceptions. We are allowed to get angry and horny. And firstly, this topic calls for some hot shots. Okay, people speak a lot about the anger side. With all the variety of nuanced feelings purged by our male upbringing, anger becomes a proxy for all the negative emotions. Men who are sad, disappointed, uncomfortable, confused, and disrespected all just spam this one button. Anger. No fancy combos, no dialogue, no nothing. Simple attack all the way through. But this coin has two sides. On the other side, sexual desire is a proxy for many positive emotions. It certainly explains a lot. Oscar Wilde wrote, "Everything in life is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power." I agree with the first part, but I don't think it's just power. Why? Did you know that many men who use the services of sex workers don't really go there for sex? They often end up just having a good chat or wanting a cuddle. Many join cam rooms because they want to feel seen and not be judged for who they are. Meanwhile, the services of a professional dominatrix can be used as therapy, as rich and powerful men go there wanting someone to hold them and take away the stress of responsibility, allow them to not be in charge, and have someone else make decisions for them, take care of them. I'm a philosopher and a man who has been grinding for years to develop some semblance of emotional maturity, which, like most guys, I've never been taught when growing up. So I think that I know where this comes from. Cheers to all guys who have walked this path. Having positive emotions, such as the comfort of your partner's calming touch, feeling the acceptance of your community, enjoying the safety to be yourself, feeling supported, feeling like you belong, having deep connections, it all puts our traditional masculinity in question. We shouldn't focus on all of this wishy-washy stuff. It all just gets in the way of providing, protecting, and rational thinking. How much worse if you catch yourself not having yet craving such things? It would be so unmanly to crave acceptance or understanding, so weak to need to feel safe, to want others to be kind to you, to want the feeling of connection, of belonging, of someone caring for you, even having someone cuddle you. All of those are not what real men do. And what do real men do? Real men fuck. That's how we know if women love, accept, connect with, and care for us. They will fuck us. And if they won't, well, that means that they don't accept us, don't care for us, and so on, and that makes us feel sad, unloved, and undesired. Except there's only one way we're allowed to express that: anger. I don't think I need to explain where that leads. I need one now. You might think, well, and I don't mind just spamming sex. Actually, simplifying all this emotional stuff sounds sweet. Don't get me wrong. I love sex. I'm certainly not here to preach celibacy, but there are two problems with that approach. First of all, addressing other emotional needs with sex tends to be as efficient as curing an infection with a plaster. It doesn't actually solve the issue. And two, you just won't ever get enough sex to cover for all the emotional needs you have. Actually, point two should be one. Seriously, let me repeat this. You will never get enough sex to cover for all the emotional needs you have. Not if you're the hottest guy on earth, because you will know that women are only with you for your looks, not for who you really are. Not if you're the richest, because paid love won't ever make you feel really wanted. Not if you're Casanova himself. And let's be honest, most of us are neither. Sorry. Cheers, buddy. What happens when you inevitably fail to satisfy all of your emotional needs with sex? Well, I've been there, so I can tell you on my own example. They fester. I felt inadequate, misunderstood, unworthy, unlovable. I was frustrated and I looked for someone to blame. I got angry. I actually was suffering inside, but I expressed it by demanding more of the only thing I knew would ease the pain: sex. As I inevitably failed to get enough of it to fill the void in my soul, I blamed my partners and women in general for not giving me enough of what I need. But blame and pressure never made anyone horny. So the more I did it, the more I pushed them away and the less sex I was actually getting. It's a vicious circle, and I know it wasn't my partners who started it. I did. I wonder, does it sound familiar to any of you? Because I know that there's probably something within you rebelling against this, but just be honest with yourself. As the great philosopher Socrates said, know thyself. Don't answer to me or anyone. It's your own moment of truth. Don't you want to feel wanted? Don't you want kind acceptance from someone who really knows you? Don't you want someone to help you work some things through without judgment? Don't you crave a warm, loving embrace? Don't you want to be truly rid of feeling inadequate and misunderstood? Wait, pause for a moment. Just think about it for a second. Take more time after the video to think about it and share your thoughts in the comments. I think it's fair to say that we all have different needs that we end up addressing by seeking sex instead. But, and I will repeat this for the third time, there's practically zero chance any man will ever get enough sex to cover for all his needs. It took me a while to know myself in this respect. I've spent years craving validation, acceptance, and comfort, wanting to feel wanted and visible, and I was in this vicious circle. And that really wasn't healthy or useful for me on any of my partners. It took quite some thinking to get out of it, too. I was lucky enough to have friends who helped me out, and I'd like to help you, too. Because I think that we all know where this can lead. Guys who are unable to deal with their emotional needs get stuck, feeling inadequate and unlovable. They think they need sex to make the pain go away, and when they can't get it, they blame women. They come up with all sorts of theories why they deserve what they can't get. They genuinely suffer, but the red pill doesn't really take away the suffering. It just reinforces a tendency to see sex and anger as the only available ways to make the pain go away. But underneath, there's still all of those unresolved emotional needs. So, is it any wonder that so many men report feeling unloved, abandoned, and not accepted? That they go to sex workers to look for validation? That they become desperate, fixated on finding a partner, and feel like rejection is the end of the world? And you can see now how this combos with the men's loneliness epidemic, right? You know that the number of women who are single is actually a little higher than men. Yet men just complain so much more about it. I don't think they are pretending. I think they are genuinely suffering from their loneliness more than women do. And why? Well, a big part of it is because women have long developed many other ways than sex to address their own psychological needs. They don't need sex and thus a partner to feel okay, but men do. Men only allow themselves one way of satisfying all of their emotional needs, a way with zero chances of success. We shouldn't really be here. We shouldn't have to deal with all those problems. We should simply deal with our emotional needs without a proxy. But to do that, we first need to know ourselves, like Socrates said. We need to really understand our emotional needs and really think what are the best ways to satisfy them. And hint, there are many more than one, and they're probably a bit different for all of us. So, what worked for me? First of all, friends. Male friends, because as soon as I opened up a little bit to them about how I feel, it turned out that they felt exactly the same. So just knowing that I'm not alone has made a big difference. But mainly, it was about female friends for me, because it's often just so much easier to be open about how you feel with a woman. Honestly, being friend zoned is a blessing in disguise. If a woman really wants to be your friend, use that opportunity to really talk to her about how you feel. Just, remember not to blame her for it or expect her to solve all your problems for you. Then I went to events where I could touch people in a non sexual way just to satisfy this craving for human touch. Dance classes, acrobalance. I did creative stuff, which impressed people, satisfying the need to be appreciated and valued. For me, that's mainly playing music, but also woodworking, writing. Then there are parties where I can meet new people and have this feeling that someone is interested in me and what I do, who I am, that they are having a good time with me. But big parties aren't always it, so also playing board games and other games with friends. But not online. It has to be physical so you can feel the joint laughter and the shared joy and feel validated for playing well. Bonus points if it's outdoors. I'm sure that not all of those will work for you, but there will be others that will. It's all just stuff that plugs directly into your needs for acceptance, validation, understanding, connection, belonging. So ask yourself, do you even want sex? I mean, of course you do. Most humans do. But do you want it every time you feel like you want it? Or is there something else behind it? Some other emotional need that you're afraid to admit and instead try to plaster it over with sex? Honestly, once I stopped having sex as a proxy way to satisfy all my emotional needs, I stopped being desperate for it and pushing people away with my neediness. Instead, I started enjoying it so much more. And now I just know when I'm actually horny and when it's about something else entirely. And if it is about something else, I just cut straight to it. No proxies. And you can do it too. I'll drink to that. So I'm not sure what Socrates would say if he knew that I'm applying his philosophy to sex, but we need to know ourselves better. Know what it is that we really need, what we really want. Once you know that, ask yourself, is sex the best way to get it? It might not be easy to figure it out at first. It's hard to undo our social conditioning and properly reflect on ourselves. But life is a puzzle game. If you don't figure that out, you will forever play with a sexually frustrated debuff that you're essentially casting on yourself. All right, this video was a lot of me not beeping things out, so it's gonna get pretty demonetized. If you think it was worth it, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Maybe share your thoughts in the comment. I'm Dr. Simon Fogg, philosopher and explorer of masculinity, handing you the man's compass.